Hello, Tungsten Miner here. As you can see, my little hut has gotten a whole lot emptier, and that's because I've moved to where I think I'm going to have my permanent residence. So, usually what I do when I start out a game is I find a comfortable spot that's pretty close to the spawn, and then set up a home base. You know, a little bit of a farm, grow some food, keep some animals. But in the end, I always wind up going off to find some place a little more interesting to make a much larger structure. And if you've watched some of my other video series, you know what I'm talking about. So I figure what we can do here is I will take you on a little trip over to where I have decided to set up a little bit more permanently. What I wound up doing was exploring everywhere all around my spawn point to about 3 kilometers or so distant in every direction. And most of that was on a boat, and some of that was on the horse, but it was all trying to look for a place that would be of particular interest to make a new structure. And I think I have found just the place. So as I head off over here, this is a, whoops, running a little too fast here. I was just going to say, this is a little place that some of the other players on the server have started setting up, getting some farming going. You can see some agricraft stuff here. Of course, all the Pam's Harvestcraft trees everywhere else, some storage drawers and whatnot. Still hasn't really made much in the way of a house, but getting some agriculture going. As we carry along here, you can see in a distance this kind of castle-y looking thing. That's actually from Rogue Dungeons. And you go down inside of there, and there's kind of a randomish sort of dungeon that gets generated by the mod. And it has a lot of treasure, but of course a lot of mobs, so it's quite dangerous. You might think it's a little out of keeping with quiet countryside, but what I really want is for the countryside to be quiet, not for everywhere to be quiet. So it's nice to have these places where you can go and have some adventures and not have it coming to you all the time when you don't want it and you're just trying to build something. Okay, so here we are. What I did was I found this interesting plateau structure and decided I was going to claim it as my own. So for now, I'm just sketching in dirt what I ultimately want to make. So I'm going to have a nice round area here, a couple of steps that come up, and then that leads you into a very long and what eventually will be a very elaborately decorated set of steps to get to the top of the plateau, which, as you can see, I've already completely smoothed off, removed all the trees, flattened out all the dirt, and then started laying out some idea of what the house is going to wind up looking like. So what I'm thinking is we'll have some kind of small entryway here. This will then be a crafting room where I'll have some crafting tables in the center, probably actually embedded in the floor. And then all around the outside of this room will be some storage and machines and things. And then this will be, again, for other machines that are used less common still. And then going all the way back here to where I might have some really large machines that take up a fair bit more room. Then there will be a second story which repeats a lot of the same rooms from the story below. And then, maybe taller, maybe not, probably have a basement. One of the things I'm thinking is to do this and frame it in just the same way you'd frame a normal house, and then put a skin on it the way you'd put, bricks or some kind of siding on a normal house. And do all that with chisels and bits so that the walls themselves won't be a full meter thick as it seems to be from the way this is laid out right now, but will actually be a fair bit narrower. To look at it from above, we've got the outside edge of the plateau here. Here's that stairway coming up to the plateau. And then here's the general layout of the house. And haven't really thought through much else what's going on here. I was thinking one of these little circular cutouts will be for some kind of spiral staircase, and the other one will be to transmit power, water, all the piping and whatnot, to go from the basement level up to the top level. And then I'll probably have the floor between the levels be a full meter thick, so I can hide that kind of stuff in there a little bit more easily. And then over here, maybe an observation tower that goes up a lot higher. and possibly a mine shaft that goes all the way down as deep as I need to go. Right now I'm at elevation about 100 or so, which means I'm a little bit low for finding iron, but I'm in good shape for finding copper, tin. I can dig down deeper, find silver, lead, gold, diamonds, all that kind of stuff. And of course, remember, Quiet Countryside has its own ore generation that puts these things in a slightly different place than you'd observe elsewhere. So that's the current progress. Still just getting started with this world, so there's still lots more to do. But I will put together another video once I've finished framing in the house. Talk to you later.